So we'll go ahead and get things going. We're going to make our way down to the ground. We're going to start off in a little bit of a 90-90 stretch. Seems like a casual one to get into first thing. So both knees, hips at 90 degrees. Chest should be turned out over the front knee. So we'll go ahead and get in this position, sitting up nice and tall. And by putting the head to the top of the ceiling, you can put your hand down for support if you need. And we're just going to ease our body forward over that front knee. Just feel a little glute stretch in the front hip. So we're just going to hold there about 10 seconds or so. Then we're going to pull back out of it. Just kind of feel what's going on and ease our way back into it. So we'll just do a short succession of a few reps here just to get a little wake up. And I'll bring it back. And I'll do one more time. Lean forward, trying to get a little bit farther each time. Then we'll pull back out. We'll go ahead and switch sides. Nice upright. So remember, set that chest over that front knee first, and then ease your way in. We're going to ask you to put in some effort this morning, but we'll slowly ease you into it. And pull them back up. So like I said, as you're kind of going through each rep, you want to slowly lower yourself down more and more. And pull yourself up. And reset that tall posture. And one more time. Easing down. And bring it out. So now we're just going to do a few alternating shin boxes here with that extension. So we're just going to reach over that chest nice and easy. Just be a continual pull. And we'll rotate those legs over. And go and see the other side. So again, we can certainly keep those hands down for support if you need them. But again, we're just trying to advance these movements as we get more and more loose. So just back and forth at whatever own pace you are comfortable with. Don't have to follow me. Definitely feeling a bit more stiffness in that left side than that right side. So we'll go one last round here between the two. And then we'll pull it back up to seated. Let's go ahead and take our right foot, put that over our left. And we'll take our left hand to the outside of that right leg. We get a little spinal twist here. So this back right hand is going to be back at the kickstand. And you're going to push against that knee, pull with that right hand, just for a gentle spinal twist. I want you to again think about elongating that spine, putting that head up towards the ceiling. And exhale as you pull through. And we're going to come back out of that for a second. And then going to reset, and once more, push and pull. I'm going to try to exhale and just turn a little bit more. And come out of that. And one more time, same direction. Exhale and twist. And come there. Go ahead and switch sides. One hand over, other hand back. Maybe get some noise through that back, that's fine. And release. And under tension. And release. We'll go one more time here. Pulling through. Again, sit nice and tall. Good proud chest and chin. And release. All right, we're going to do a little bit of ankle mobility. So go ahead and get 1 foot on top of your knee, kind of a crisscross position here. So you're just gonna lightly grab kind of the balls of your foot here, and we're just gonna work to gently do some ankle rotations. We're gonna lose some mobility in those feet, so we make sure we pay attention to those as well. So just some light, gentle circles each way, and trying to be a little bit more passive in the ankle, do the muscles in the ankle, and letting that hand kind of do the work. Forward, back, in kind of that hinge, and also those circles. Take about another 10 seconds to go through that foot. And then we're going to do something, if you are frequent and recent unravels, you may have seen this one. We're going to do what we call a foot splice. So you can put basically one finger in between each toe. Alright? And we're pulling these, or you're hinging your toes forward and backwards. And you can get a little rotation in those as well. There's some mobility to those smaller muscles who may not work a lot. And hey, we're warming up our wrists at the same time. We'll go ahead and come out of that. Go ahead and switch sides. And we'll start with a little ankle mobility. So you're grabbing around the ball of the foot. Trying to be nice and loose on your ankle. Pushing back and forth. Remember that hinge and the circles. Let you have some freedom between those. And just like everything else that we do, you can try to slowly increase that range of motion as you go through, as you start getting a little bit more and more blood flow through it. Don't try to go full throttle right at the start. Alright, one more time, we're going to take those fingers through those toes and work some mobility through the end of that foot. Take a few more seconds, get some there, and we'll go ahead and relax. Next one, we're going to slide over and roll down onto our backs. We're going to do some shoulder mobility now with some quote-unquote wall slides. Alright, so I want you to get in this position with your low back pressed into the ground. So we're going to take our forearms, put the back of our forearms to the ground. You should feel that chest open, that upper back squeeze. So at this point, maybe you're a little bit more awake, so we're going to work on a little bit more engagement. So again, really pushing that low back into the ground, trying to keep that contact between the low back and the ground. We're going to take those hands, we're going to slide those hands along the ground, up overhead as far as you can. If you lose contact with the ground through that low back, I want you to stop wherever that is. And we will pull back down. As we pull back down, I want you to imagine you're going to try to touch those elbows together behind your back. And we're going to hold and squeeze that. And release. One more time, bring those hands up. Just like you're doing a shoulder press. Trying to keep those wrists, those elbows, and the forearms, everything in between, on the ground with that low back in contact, and slowly pulling back down. Don't rush it. I want you to be very, very slow in that slide, intentional in every inch of that movement. Pulling back down, trying to squeeze those elbows together behind your back. Low back still pressing the ground, right? And one more time, up overhead. Breathing through here. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more mobile this last one. And pulling back down. Keeping in contact with the ground, all points. slow and controlled. Squeeze. And relax. Go ahead and roll that up. Alright. So we're going to bring that onto all fours. We're going to take a little bit more advanced movement here. That's what we call a shoulder roll. So we're going to get in all fours. We're going to take our left arm. We're going to bend that arm at the elbow. So we're one hand on our elbow, one on our hand. We're going to take that left hand. We're going to rotate that towards our right hand. And we're just going to follow that all the way around until we drop down to that shoulder. Alright, then we're going to put that elbow back in the ground and rotate that back through. Alright, do that one more time, same side. So we're going to drop to that elbow, use that elbow as your pivot point, and you're basically just swinging that all the way around from the inside to the outside, putting that shoulder into the ground, and then reversing. We'll do the same thing on the other side to the elbow. Swinging that through and around. And back up. So we're just going to alternate back and forth here. Just holding for about 2-3 seconds on each one. Like I said, just working some of that shoulder mobility. When you get that arm fully extended, I want you to really focus on getting that palm around. Some nice rotation through that shoulder. We're going to go one more time on each side, whatever your pace looks like. All right, so we're going to stay down in all fours. We're going to do some modified bird dogs here. So we're going to bring left hand, left knee up off the ground. Keeping those right angles at your knee and your elbow. We're going to try to open both sides out wide. We're going to extend both arm and leg. We're going to pull back into those externally rotated right angles, pulling back down and putting back down. We'll go to the opposite side, hand and knee up off the ground, rotate out, extend both arm and leg, pulling back into that right angle, reverse, and touch back down. We're going to do 2 more on each side. I want you to take it at your own pace. Always with that bird dog, maintain that stable core, but really working to get that external rotation, squeezing across the body in that diagonal direction. And back down. Should be getting that glute fired up. Getting that upper back fired up. Let's say the last time on each side, whatever that may look like for you. All right. Give you a second to finish that up. All right, last little section here. We're going to do a little bit of some flows, some progressive mobility through a dynamic range of motion here. So we're going to stay down on all fours. We're going to stick one leg out to the side. We're going to hinge those hips back, kind of like a child's pose. We're going to hold that for just a couple seconds. We're going to release. We're going to rotate that foot. And we're going to sit back into a nice hamstring. So we're just going to alternate between those two. Again, just like those shoulder rolls, we're going to hold for just 2 to 3 seconds on each one. Just promoting a little bit more depth each time you go through. So those knees, that ankle, gonna stay in the same place each rep. We're just gonna get 5 or 6 of these total. Again, I really want to emphasize slowing that pace down, taking as much time through those positions as you need to, and taking as much time to transfer between those two as you need to. I'll let you finish up that last 1 or 2 reps. Then we can switch to the other side, doing the same thing. When we go into that sit back here with that leg extended, I want you to really focus on keeping those hips nice and level. You're going to want to kind of open that hip with that high side. All right, but I want you to think about kind of pushing that inside of your hip towards this front knee. All right, so really help get that leg, stretch out that groin. Big focus here. And like I said, we will rotate that leg when we sit back into the hamstring. Definitely feel some differences left to right as we go through here. So I'm going to take a little bit more time hanging out in this hamstring stretch. Again, we are kind of doing short stretch cycles just because we do have a little bit of movement transferring between these two positions. So you're going to kind of help contract and loosen just to let our body know what we're asking of it. Let's go take one more time on that. All right, you ready for the fun stuff? Hope so. All right, so we're gonna get down. We've been in all fours here for a minute. We're gonna stay there. We're gonna hop our hips backwards into that child's pose. And then we're going to pull ourselves forward, launching into a front step or a runner's lunge. Hand that's closest to that leg, we're going to reach that forward and sweep that all the way around back. And we're going to pull that back to start, back to start. All right, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Hinge it back to that child's pose, pull yourself through into that runner's lunge. Big reach forward and swinging that arm back. Alright, so that's what we're shooting for. Alternate back and forth between those two sides at your own pace. I want you to really take that arm sweep. Get that arm as long as we can manage. Waking up those shoulders, certainly waking up those hips. A little dynamic mobility here. Like I said, I'll get you ready for the day. Let's go one more on each side, wherever you are. Big reach. Or as big of an arc as we can make. Last one on this side. And we'll bring it back down. I'll give you a second to wrap that one up. We're going to do last one here, a little bit of a spinal wave. So we're going to get to our plank position. We're going to push back into that downward dog. And think about from your tailbone to the top of your head, we're going to pull each vertebrae one at a time, all the way through into that plank. We'll follow that again with that front step. What we're going to do this time is we're going to, this back hip, think about dropping that hip towards the ground. I'm losing some contact. So back knee drops down to the ground. We're looking to get as much rotation through that body as possible, through those hips. And we're going to come back down, plant those hands, lift back to that plank, and we're ready to go again. So pushing back that downward dog. Get that wave forward. That other foot comes up into that runner's lunge. And we're just going to drop that hip down into that rotation. Again, just hold on there for a couple seconds. Bring that back to plank. And we're going to do 2 more times. Very slow, controlled on that wave. And as much movement through there as possible. Into that rotation. Stretching out that whole side. And we'll get our last time. 1 vertebrae at a time. Into that plank front step. And we're rotating. And bring it back. All right. Well, I hope you are feeling mighty mobile this morning because we're all set here. If you're hanging around for impact, we'll switch over to teams here at 7:30. Otherwise, hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me.